Anichka here with Hip Hop Camp News with my favorite artist right now, Kemba, formerly known as YC the Cynic. What's up?
Life is good. I'm glad to be here.
So, I want to start from the beginning. You're from the Bronx. And there's, for people in Czech Republic, there's this myth about the Bronx and the birth of the culture. How was it to grow up in Bronx?
Incredible, incredible. I didn't even know. I didn't even really take in like how important the Bronx was until I got a little older. And now it's just like the most amazing thing to me. Just having studied and heard the stories and watched the movies and spoken to people like Kool Herc and like Grandmaster Caz and like it's incredible. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Did they drop some knowledge on you? Did you, if you get to talk to these, forefathers or whatever they call?
Honestly, it's really just having the conversations and just getting to know them as people. I never really wanted to come off as corny, asking them the same questions as everybody else. But just being around, like I did a Q&A with Kaz about being an established hip hop artist versus being indie, and Kool Herc. I'll just talk to him about regular stuff like who's his favorite artist right now and that type of stuff. It's just cool to be around them, soak up that energy.
Right. I know you've worked with the Rebel Diaz, who are really activists, and you did the youth center kind of deal, but they got closed. Is there something else if you're being involved with youth work right now?
Well, right now it's been a little tough just with everything with the album, but the collective as a whole is still working. We're doing like this books and breakfast in the Bronx, where every last Sunday of the month, the community can come and get free breakfast and then read books from our radical library. And take books home, and it's just a good way to bring in everybody, kids, adults, and just become one with the community. Getting better tuned with the community.
That's awesome. Before we go to Negus, I want to ask you about the Farewell tape. You released that in April. So what was the thought behind that? Because I know you got some remixes of Silent Night and those people. So yeah, how was that? I mean, the concept of the story behind it, I guess.
I just wanted to kind of end everything with. I wanted to make an announcement. I wanted to make the announcement that I was changing my name, and I felt like there were a lot of stuff that I've done that people haven't heard because they weren't on a project, and I thought it'd be a good idea to compile like some of my favorite verses and some of the favorite features that I've done, and kind of put it together in a way that'll make it exciting for people that already knew who I was, and at the same time be the gateway to this like new announcement, this new.
So I hear that Negus, the album, was created after you went to Ferguson and you spent time with my grandmother. So could you describe maybe that experience? Because people rarely hear about like firsthand, from media we get stuff, but not like.
Well, we started working on it way before Ferguson. But what we were doing really didn't have legs. Like it wasn't really up to our standard. It wasn't that great. It didn't have like feeling, soul. We were trying to do something different. G&K was really dark, and we wanted to kind of make something lighter. Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't it just wasn't happening. We were trying, but it wasn't happening. And then when we went to Ferguson, it all kind of just flowed out from there. Everything I learned, like started flowing out. And meeting Mike Brown's grandmother was crazy. It's just real emotional, And we were just in those situations. You don't want to just talk about the issue. You want to just be there for people and feel with them and you know, if they want to, then we're there for it. If they want to get their mind off of it, then we're there for it. So it was just as it was a good time, as good of a time as it could be. You know, they made food, and we just like enjoyed each other's company. You know, and then immediately went out to march.
Okay, first, New Black Theory, the video. I really appreciate the concept because I always think about how people that do not speak that well English, they still get the point of what you were, trying to say. Any new other videos you're planning for from the Niggas album?
I'm working on some. Not anything that I'm 100% concrete, but like I wrote that video, the concept and the treatment, and I wrote a bunch of other ones. So you know, if I could figure out how to make them happen right, then definitely.
So, the name, Niggas. It's really hard, especially in Czech Republic. Sometimes, people hear the songs from the radio, they're not cleared, and they think that N-word is okay. So sometimes there's this conflict happening right away because they don't know the history and all that. Yeah, it happens a lot. So, but can you explain the meaning of the word?
Well, Negus is a term from Ethiopian dialect. It means like a king, and I thought it was real interesting because of the juxtaposition between that and the N word, and like the drastically different meanings. So I thought like that made me want to kind of use it and push it. And I made the song called Negus on G&K, and that was my favorite song and a lot of people's favorite songs. So that kind of made me want to just explore it even more, and make a whole full album.
So I was very curious about I heard it's a documentary, the snippets you're using for the intro and outro. So what kind of, how did you assemble? It's something that went on television. Like, what's the story? Because I've never heard. I was so surprised. I was like, okay, what is this?
It's like I saw it online. It's a documentary about just blackness in the 60s, I believe 60s or 70s. And yeah, when I saw it, it was just incredible. Like this teacher teaching like radical like black love, and it's crazy that specifically black love is radical, is considered radical, but the way it was being done was very very militant. So when I saw it, I was just like, this is incredible. I want to use it some way, and then as the creative process came along, I was like, this could be the foundation for the whole project.
So, who's a real hero to you?
Man, when I was in Ferguson, I saw a lot of real heroes. I saw a lot of people that putting their freedom on the line for others. There's a lot of women that are the real heroes. Women are the real heroes.
Yeah, that's what I appreciated about the song "Kings and Queens." I was like, finally, there's so much talk about the kings, but you included the queens. And in the 90 minutes interview that you said that you were doing, you mentioned something that was really incredible to me to hear you say that about the internalizations of lyrics and maybe the sexism, how it gets, into, and how women in hip hop are treated. So do you have any tip on the underground so-called woman that's big right now in New York? Yeah, like.
Well, Chelsea Reject is awesome, of course. LA, Latasha Alcindor, she's awesome. I really love No Name from Chicago. She's incredible. She's like my favorite artist right now. She just dropped a project. Who else? There's not that many that I know. I need to brush up on a lot. Rhapsody's obviously awesome. Yeah, if you know any, please let me know.
I got plenty.
Send links.
Today's performance, what can we expect?
You could expect high energy, a lot of songs that I know people will rock with, and songs that I've never performed before, so I'm scared to see what the reaction is. But I think it'll go well. I hope it'll go well.
One last question. If you could be in charge of education reform, what's the first thing you would do?
That was really tough. If there's some way to make the quality of education equal, no matter the average income of the neighborhood, I think I think that's the first thing I would do. I'm not very knowledgeable on the topic, but to me, in simple terms, I think poor people should have as good an education as rich people. And if, I don't know the ways to do that, but if I was in charge, that would be my first, line of business.
Thank you.